Hello everyone, so this is going to be my take on the Bungie and Activision split. Now, going back before this, this deal even went down, I remember back in the day, I was a big fan of Oni, even though I'd not completed it. I just knew Bungie by Oni originally. Then, obviously, they made Halo 2, Halo 3, and I've played all of the Halo games numerous times. I've been a really big fan of Bungie since. And the thing that I think allured a lot of people to Bungie originally was the way that they conducted themselves. Like, I think it was more to do with the period in time that they were big, and also the way that they conducted themselves at that time. Like, for instance, during the period of time in which Halo 3 was at the height of its game, when Bungie were seemingly, I'm going to go out on a limb and just say FPS gods, in terms of they've created this franchise that has brought in Microsoft a ridiculous amount of money. It's brought loads of people to the Xbox. It's got seemingly hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people, online at the same time playing this FPS, and everybody seemingly loves either the music, the storyline, or the gameplay. Either way, Halo's a really big thing at this point, and most people are either in the early or late teens, or if you're like me, you were sort of in your early 20s going into university and studying video games design. So for the people that I was with at the time, everybody was like, oh yeah, Bungie's amazing, they're really good at designing stuff, they've done a really good job, and they're just really cool guys, because the way that they conducted themselves, like when you see the original videos and behind the scenes stuff, Microsoft bought them up and they wanted them to be in suits and ties, and Bungie had this mentality of, screw the man, let's do whatever the hell we want. And eventually, come Halo 3, Microsoft gave in to them and just said, look, we'll let you do whatever the hell you want with your office, whatever, as long as you make us money, or at least less, or more or less that's what Bungie seemed to imply with the way that they were conducting themselves, the way they structured their office with an open floor plan where everybody was able to more or less go between areas and communicate with each other well. And as a result, they got this well-polished game out of it. And conducting themselves like that, especially like at the beginning where you can see the behind the scenes for Halo 1 and they show off Marathon, and you've got Jason saying, like, screw the games developers conference, and they're binning stuff that they would have potentially needed. I think it's a design document. They just came across as these rebellious kids that were making these games either out of their attic or out of an office that they'd rented with whatever money they had left, and they seemingly made it, so they were the little guy that everybody roots for, and then when they get bigger, you just hope that they have continuous, I would say, success, because seemingly they've not forgotten the roots. They're continuously doing really good stuff and putting that out there, and they seemingly have the same sort of attitude towards stuff, where they're saying, like, nah, we told Microsoft to go screw themselves, and as a result, they've kind of given in to us, and they've let us do our own thing, and we produced Halo 3, we produced ODST, and now we're finishing off by doing Reach. That was what made them popular, I think, back in the day, not just the game, but the fact that they seemingly acted like everybody else at the time. They appealed to the younger crowd because they sort of portrayed themselves as not playing by the rules. So then you have this whole deal with Activision, and I can tell you I remember this very, very clearly. It's a while back now, but I remember at the end of Halo Reach, when Reach didn't go down swimmingly at the beginning, when it first came out, it wasn't really well received because everybody was still like, I'm not so sure, it feels a little bit too much like COD now. And up until this point, Halo had been very competitive between itself and COD 4 and the other iterations. I remember it was always, back in the day, it was always you were either a COD fan or a Halo fan, and you were always talking smack about the other game, because your game was better. And then after Reach came out, they announced that they were going to do business with Activision in future, that they'd been bought, that they obviously weren't an indie studio, and that they were going to go on to make Destiny and try and produce other things because they didn't want to make Halo all the time. And I remember saying to a couple of my friends that were all big Halo fans at the time, just saying like, look, I don't think this is good, because Activision and especially EA have always had this reputation of obviously wrecking companies, and we've seen that recently since a lot of other companies that are under them have started suffering. I think the most recent one that people can see it happening to at the moment is Blizzard. Blizzard are constantly leaking devs and producers and other things, like other members of staff, and are taking hits left, right and centre. So obviously Activision are putting pressure on them to try and develop stuff for cheaper but to make them more money. And it's been really scummy. There's always been this joke that the main guy behind Activision, Bobby Kotick, is absolute scum. And I don't know whether he's still there or not now. I've not really done so much research on them recently, but Activision have never been particularly good with the companies that are under them. And seemingly Bungie have wanted out now. They want to jump ship because of the stuff that's been happening to them, the bad PR that they've got, and just all the problems, which I'm assuming some of which might be the stress from trying to produce stuff to Activision's timeline, or just to get it out the door as quickly as possible for Activision. The whole deal with the microtransactions that were included, we don't know whether that was all Bungie's idea or a mix. The whole deal with Marty O'Donnell being let go, and then Joe Staten, one of the lead writers, who both went back to, I think, Microsoft and 343. I'll have to actually check up on that. I know Joe's writing for Microsoft and 343 at the moment, doing like side stuff in the Halo books. But Joe was the main writer for most of it, originally for the Halo story and things. And it's just sad to see all this happen, because when you grow up with these people and you think, oh, they're so cool, they're really, really awesome, and you see them working together as friends and producing really good content, then all of a sudden a new company buys them out and everything just goes downhill. They have internal struggles, they have a lot of internal conflict, and seemingly everybody that was friends starts creating problems with each other, and they start falling out. That's not a nice thing to see. And for me, at least, the moment they did Destiny, and I didn't really enjoy Destiny, I kind of left Bungie. I used to be keeping up with everything that they were doing, like in the news, and I kind of left Bungie to do their own thing, unfortunately. And then this happens, and I'm thinking to myself, look, I hope they do good in future. I really hope they do good in future, because getting away from Activision will probably allow them to do whatever the hell they want, and hopefully they can start making a comeback. With all this negative press that's been surrounding them in the recent years, with all the change-ups in management and things that they've had, with all the fallouts and the controversies and scandals that they've had, I honestly hope that they do better in future. I want them to go back to the roots, seemingly anyway. The whole idea of, we do whatever the hell we want. If we're making good money, somebody will pay us to make them money, and we will continue to be who we are and who we enjoy being, and enjoy working together as friends. That's what I want them to be at the moment, and I hope they get back to that. I hope that they, as a company, can sort this out, because you never want to see, like I said, a company like that you seemingly really enjoyed go under and then have so many problems, and then leave and not know what they're doing. So I hope that this is the start of something fresh for them. I hope that leaving Activision was the first part of a comeback for them that will result in them actually making good games again and being able to pull themselves back from the brink of all of this. Anyway, what do you guys think about this entire situation? It's been really crazy to hear this. I'm actually really, obviously, happy for them to have this breakup now, because I didn't want them to be in it till 2020, I think it was. The contract was supposed to end. But yeah. Anyway, I'll leave that with you guys, and we'll see what happens And obviously I'll see you in the comments section. So, until next time, bye!